Welcome back to Get Down to Business. My next guest is a Time Kid of the Year 2020 nominee. And Alex Jimenez wrote a book, The Big Idea, which was published by Fig Factor Media Publishing to help kids like himself who are interested in the basics of business, marketing, and leadership. Alex, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me on the show, Shalom. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, it's so awesome to have you. So I have to ask, Alex, at 14 years old, where did you get the idea to write The Big Idea?
Yeah, it essentially happened when I was 13, and we had some difficulties, obviously, because of the pandemic. And essentially what happened was my own organization, Smiles Against Cancer, we couldn't do as much for the kids, for, donating toys to them. So we were thinking, well, what are some other ways we could bring this to revenue, get the word out there? And we were thinking, well, why don't I write a book? I can inspire other kids and teenagers. And not only that, but I'll be able to get the word out for Smiles Against Cancer. And I just went from there. One day I wrote one page, next day another, until 6 months later, I finally have the book in hand.
Oh, it's an awesome book, and you've accomplished some incredible things. So I have to ask, where did you learn your love of business from?
Yeah, it was a little bit per se weird, for at least in my part. What happened was, when I was about good 6 years old, my dad asked me, or I asked my dad, "Hey, what are you doing?" One day, he was working on his own business at the time, and I asked him, "Hey, what are you doing? What are you working on?" Blah blah. And what happened was, he told me, well, a kid could barely understand so much, right? At 6 years old. So I asked him, and throughout time, he started telling me more and more and more, until finally I started getting the hang of it. Until one day I sold chocolate bars from the Boy Scouts of America, and I asked my dad, "Hey, can I sell some chocolate bars to the neighbors?" And I ended up, he said okay, and my big sister took me around the block, and next thing I know, I sold almost two boxes, and my dad came home. He was all mad, thinking I ate all the chocolate, but I just pulled out a pocket full of cash, and from there he kind of just knew that I had the passion for it, and I knew it myself. So throughout time, he just started teaching me more and more, until, again, here I am now. I started my own business company and finally wrote a book.
Hey, I love it, Alex. I'm chatting with Alex Jimenez, the author of The Big Idea. And Alex, your passion is screaming through the airwaves. In fact, my producer George is fist bumping you virtually over here. We're all just so pumped to have you on and promoting your incredible passion for business. And you wrote this book to help teens understand basic business and leadership concepts in a simple and easy way. So, Alex, I mean, you're 14 years old. Are there many teens like you who are interested in these topics?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Tell us a little bit about the conversations you're having with some of whether it's your classmates or friends.
Yeah, of course. So, it's very common for, especially now in the digital age where we are. And essentially what happened was, more and more kids started getting into the sense of wanting to learn about business, because most kids now, especially, they don't want to, per se, have the American dream or whatever. They have a sense of that, but they just want to have something else. Just don't, they don't want to work a 9 to 5 all the time. So a lot of kids, I have conversations with them, even other kid entrepreneurs, and they tell me even themselves, "Hey, I want to do something else. I don't want to keep doing a 9 to 5, or I don't want to study all, 15 years almost of school and just almost doing nothing. I have to pay off debt and everything." So over time, I heard these conversations, and I started thinking, well, I want to do something else, and I want to start teaching them, because I already have some knowledge myself, and at least they could take one thing out of the book. That would be just amazing. One golden nugget, per se.
Totally. So, Alex, I have to ask, what are some of the important concepts that you think, if readers walk away with one thing, what would it be?
One thing. Well, the number one thing would be action. You have to take action in your business. And by that, I mean, you could read all the, seminars. You could go to all seminars, read all the books, listen to all the audio books. But in reality, they are all useless. They're not worth anything if you don't take action and apply those skills into whatever you're trying to do, in your business, in your life, personal growth, whatever it may be. It's not worth anything if you don't take action. So action is a huge part in the book that I constantly mention.
Absolutely. And Alex, if you were to imagine yourself 10 years from now, you're going to be 24 years old. Where do you hope that you are going to be?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in the 10 years later, I don't know exactly, but I would like to be in the stock market. I want to start trading more and more. I'm learning right now currently. Besides that, I would love to have my own companies, other ventures of technology, and maybe possibly write another book. Who knows what the future beholds? But yeah, that's basically what I want. And of course, I want to grow Smiles Against Cancer, my organization, as much as possible. And those are per se the main things I want to accomplish.
I love it. That's 10 years from now, and I'm confident you'll have many more books and be teaching folks in their 20s and then 30s all of the lessons that you've learned along the way. So what are some business trends that you are seeing? What can you teach our listeners, young and old, about either social media, learning from the stock market? What are some of the things that you're seeing in today's economy that you think are lessons for really anybody of any age?
Yeah, well, of course they have to per se suit what they want to do for themselves. But one main thing would be the stock market. I'm currently learning it right now as much as I can, although I'm still very young. But I think the stock market is a huge potential for them if they want to succeed more and want to learn more about the market. But besides that, I'd love for a lot of kids to go into social media. They could apply some of their own business skills or some of their own business into some Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, all those big social media platforms. That would be huge for their business, as well as Smiles Against Cancer. It's working very well for mine. But I think that they just have to keep doing what they're doing and just find different ways that they could grow their business. So social media and the stock market would be great.
Yeah, as you said, it's all about action. I'm chatting with Alex Jimenez, the author of The Big Idea, who is a nominee for Time Kid of the Year in 2020 and accomplishing some incredible things. And Alex, you have been highlighting again that one important thing is action, stepping up, and that's a lesson for folks young and old, and exciting to hear your perspective, stock market, social media, and everything. So you keep mentioning Smiles Against Cancer, the nonprofit that you created, that you founded. Can you tell us a little bit about the organization and how people can support your important work?
Of course. Well, Smiles Against Cancer is an organization dedicated to put smiles on kids' faces. And essentially what we do is every year, once a year, or at least for a week, we donate toys to kids with hospital. Right now we're in Chicago. We're trying to expand more and more. But every year we just collect a bunch of toys throughout the year. And one day out of the year, we just start donating them to kids with cancer that unfortunately can't do as many things as we can. Obviously, even I'm very fortunate, as well as a lot of other kids. But yeah, we donate toys and we give them to the kids that have cancer. So far, we have Lurie Children's Hospital, which is a wonderful and amazing hospital in Chicago. And another one is Commerce Children's Hospital. Those are the two main ones that we're working with right now, but we're trying to expand in Indiana, Ohio, and Wisconsin, a bunch of other states. But those are the main ones. They could find it at www.alexjimenez.biz. There you could find both my books and Smiles Against Cancer.
Alex, you're already accomplishing amazing things, and you're inspiring, hopefully, many folks to step up and do more, both in business and in community. And I have to ask, since we are talking in this very challenging period of COVID-19, how has that affected you, and how are you making the most, sort of finding the silver lining in these times where I'm assuming that you're probably doing some of your classes online, spending a lot of time in front of a computer? You sound like a very social teenager committed to community. What's this period been like, and what's the silver lining?
Well, it's very challenging and difficult for a bunch of students, and especially the teachers, but obviously we can't do as many things as we wanted to, go into the school, learn, and socialize with our friends and family. But we're just taking it one step at a time. The whole world is. But per se, the silver lining that everybody has is they have so much of an opportunity to do what they want to do right now. And I know you heard it. A bunch of people heard it, and you could do a bunch of stuff that you couldn't do. Right? You could cook, or you could start your own business, or you could start your own podcast or radio show. Right? But obviously, you just gotta be optimistic about the ideas of learning more and sharpening your skills on whatever you want to pursue. And to me, that's the silver lining that I think a lot of teenagers as well as adults should do something and apply to what you want to do in your dreams.
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely. Well, you are a 14-year-old superstar. You're accomplishing amazing things, inspiring teenagers and, frankly, those quite a bit older than teenagers to be more excited by business and community. So, Alex, where can our listeners learn more about your book, about Smiles Against Cancer, and all of the important work that you're doing?
Yeah, once again, you could visit me at www.alexjimenez.biz. There you can find my books at Barnes & Noble and Amazon. Also, there's going to be a link to smilesagainstcancer.org as well as my social media platforms. But that's essentially where you could find me, hear my story, and yeah.
Well, Alex, I appreciate you coming on the air with us this evening. Come back real soon. Keep us posted on your future books, of which I'm sure there will be many. And thanks for inspiring all of us. You're listening to Get Down to Business, the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. Get on my website, shalomklein.com, where you can download the past 6.5 years of shows all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. Chicago, don't touch the dial wheel. We'll be right back.